What's going on, guys? I'm joined here by Nick Groke. Nick is a staff writer for The Athletic, covering the Colorado Rockies, and this is his first time winning the award. Thank you for joining us, Nick, and congratulations on winning the award.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. So, Nick, what was your career path like on your way to where you are now? Did you always know that you wanted to, be a sports writer, be in the sports media industry? What was that career path like for you?
No, I mean, to be honest, I sort of half fell into it. It's a thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to uh, be a writer, be a reporter, and I just sort of happened to get an internship when I was in high school. I started working at the Denver Post, a newspaper in
Wow.
Denver. When I was in high school, I was answering phones. I was taking high school sports scores over the
Yeah.
phone. It was a great job. We had a lot of fun. It got really busy. Friday nights during high school basketball season were just a crush of phone calls
Right.
um, and we had a lot of fun. And I just sort of, I mean, to be totally honest, I just kind of hung around and started doing other stuff at the paper. I was an agate clerk. Um, was I was on the city desk for a little bit. I did a bunch of different jobs, wrote about food and music, and then just kind of sort of kept going. To be
Right.
honest,
So you said that you wrote about food, music, and stuff like that. Did what was it about sports that kind of drew you in? Have you always been a sports fan? Did you always play sports?
yeah, I was a fan. Yeah, it, again, like it wasn't a thing that I sort of sought out to be able to write about sports. Over time, I've learned that it's a good subject though, and there's a lot to write about generally. Um, and it's you you can write about things in a way that have an impact that maybe resonates sometimes a little bit, even a little bit more than other subjects, just because sports get so much attention. So, uh, it's definitely a thing that I've grown to even enjoy even more than probably than when I started. But yeah, the my enjoyment of sports um, sort of helps, but like kind of to be honest, it's not a thing. You get to you eventually get to a point where you divorce yourself from being a fan. At times, anyway, it always creeps in. It'll
Right.
always creep in. Like it's still like a thrill to see like an amazing play happen
Yeah.
or something, or even over the course of a season, not even a single moment, but um, you know my sort of connection to the job is more a lot of times more just kind of like mechanical. I really do enjoy the process of reporting and telling stories, telling other people's stories, being sort of like a conduit for people to have their voice. Baseball players don't always need like somebody to amplify their voice, but
Right.
there are still occasions where that's sort of a principle that I get jazzed by. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff about sports that going into it. I mean, I don't even know if I can remember what I was like in high school, but like going into
Right.
it, like the thrill of being around a sports department. That's still I still have that every day.
That's awesome. So what about this job? What about your job today is your favorite part?
I mean, I really well, I mean, there are a lot of there are a lot of awesome stuff. Like when it comes down to it, I really just enjoy working with other reporters, other journalists, reporters and editors. I really do. I like just the conversations I get to have with other people, um, people I work with at the Athletic, but also the people I sort of I'm supposed to compete against. They're some of my best friends. It really is just sort of you know being around other journalists is definitely one of the best parts. And like I heard a funny thing the other day that I don't know who said it. Somebody quoted somebody else. I forget the origin, but something like if you enjoy writing, then then you must be doing it wrong, which kind of hit me sort of fun. It sort of kind of hit me on the funny bone a little bit, but because when you stare at like a blank page, when you open a document and you're staring at a blank page, like there's like an abject fear, especially if you're on a deadline.
Right.
It's scary, and maybe that part isn't exactly fun. I know where they're whoever said that, I know where they're coming from.
Right.
But when you're finished, it's like it's still one of the best feelings. I mean, even if it leads me to have like stress dreams, I like have stress dreams about deadlines all the time, but
Right.
Being able to finish a thing, even though the next day I always regret something, I like, there's a missed comma, whatever it is.
Right.
It's still like it's a total thrill to be able to put something together like that, and to be able to like talk it through with the people that you're reporting on, and to to find different ways of telling stories and conveying information, and that's a real thrill. And then, like, also, I mean, you do you do get to see, like, for better or worse, you get to see how the sausage is made. So so seeing, if for instance a game-winning home run by somebody in a baseball game, and knowing all of the work they put behind that, because I was there in spring training and I saw them hitting soft toss, and I saw them doing all, I'm not rooting for them, because I'm a reporter,
Right.
but to see all of somebody's work kind of come to fruition at times, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah, I could see that being a very satisfying journey and process for sure. So Nick, what would you consider to be the highlight of your career thus far? It could be tangible or intangible. What do you consider to be the highlight of your career thus far?
I don't know about that. I'm not trying to sort of be falsely modest or whatever, but it really is like knowing that the like people I've come in contact with, especially other reporters that I'll know them now for the maybe for the rest of my life. There's like definitely a connection that you get when it's sometimes even unspoken, that that you, because what each other are going through as reporters, that really is like, you just sort of come to an understanding that you just sort of like get it. You sort of get it. And that's definitely a highlight. There were fun moments along the way that were fun to write about, and even things that weren't fun. Even the hard stuff, the emotional stuff is, that's all still definitely memorable. I mean, there are people I've met for stories that I'll never ever forget, even if they forget me, which is fine. But I'll remember that stuff for the rest of my life. I think those are probably the highlights.
That's awesome. So, Nick, for someone who's just entering the industry, or someone who's thinking about getting into the industry, what's the best piece of advice you could give that person?
Yeah, especially if you're wanting to be a writer, the thing that I think maybe wasn't said to me enough, was to just read everything. Read the back of a cereal box, whatever. Just read everything. And if you're interested in sports writing, chill out on the sports reading. Read other stuff. Try to be as rounded a human as possible. Understand where other people, or maybe try to understand maybe where other people are coming from. Read different voices as much as possible, whether it's a subject that you have no interest in, a different kind of music, a different news, entertainment, whatever. Just read everything,
Right.
and then at some point too, try to kind of like try to start seeing sort of how the like how the strings are in an article, how that writer chose to tell that story. When the more you read, you can kind of see how different stories are told in different ways, and how those things help or hurt the story that they're trying to tell. Um, when you start to read more and more, you kind of get how a thing comes together a little bit more. I think that's the most helpful thing, to be honest. I know people say that if you want to be a good writer, you should just write, and that's true too.
Right.
But I mean, I would definitely encourage, if I was talking to me when I was 15 or 16 or even 20, 25, whatever, I would tell myself to read more. I think I did a lot, and it helped me. But I would tell myself to read even more. And again, to find different, whatever it is, a different publication, a different writer, just anything that exposes you to new things, can be very helpful.
Awesome. Well, those are all the questions I have for you, Nick. If you want to thank anyone or leave us with any closing remarks before we head off, you could go ahead and do that now.
Well, I mean, there are like lots of people. I mean, yeah. I mean, I hope I generally thank them
Yeah.
every time I talk to them, even if it's kind of unsaid. But like, yeah. I mean, that there are people I miss that I've worked with before, and even recently, whatever. And but I can tell them thank you when I when I see them.
Right.
But thank you though for having me. This was
Of
fun.
course. No problem. No problem. And Nick, thank you again and congratulations on winning this award.
Yeah, no, thank you.